the good thing is that we are granular. The future has never been so open. The sky is the limit. We can do whatever we want with open source and with Red Hat. We are your strategic partner to success. It's a complete offering from middleware, from cloud, from storage as well. There is a different acquisition that we made for storage for the cloud, something called Ceph for OpenStack storage, Red Hat storage, so that you can have a scale-out applications. And just before I conclude, remember that the journey to the cloud is not a big bang approach, it's a gradual approach. We have the capacity to help you with different things, and you have to think about which will make the best of breed while going. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Ayman Al-Sheikh, for your valuable presentation. Our next speaker is Mr. Ahmed Amir from Sky Computing Private Limited. Please welcome Mr. Ahmed Amir onto the stage. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. It's my pleasure and honor to address you on the topic, as you can see, starting your big data initiative. And I will try to be slow, hopefully, and I may not be able to give you the Arabic translation as well. I'm sorry for that. And this is mostly, it is a technical session, because, but I will also try to focus mostly on the business side, on the value side, and how you can realize the value for the big data. This could be the thing I'm going to talk. Maybe the title, it says how you can realize the value for the big data for your environment. This is the topic. So let me just start. Whenever we are talking about big data, there is something we have been listening, open data, and there are some government initiatives with regards to the open data. So availability and accessibility of the data, it is something which is being considered as one of the challenging things in your organization, whether you belong to a public sector, private sector, or any other sector. So those are the traditional stuff which we need to consider. Reusability and sharing. Of course, once you have the data, how you can reuse that particular data and how this data can be shared. This is another thing. And global data democratization, when you have the data, how this particular data can be exported and how this particular data, without actually considering the orchestration, or I think I should, and how you can make it available for the other systems to understand and to give you the value. If you are like a CIO, you are looking for generating some dashboards, some reports, some decision-making stuff.
But we want to remove your cluster from this side.
Sorry. Connectivity has been always part of concern. There is no technology without connectivity. And if I'm unable to have the flexibility of saving 10, 20 MB of data, so again we are talking about that is like a big data. So big data was, it is considered that there are three challenges. They call volume, velocity and variety. And before we actually start with the big data, you have been listening kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, and also there is a petabyte, exabyte. Some people they call zettabyte and yottabyte also. So those bytes, why we are listening this time, why we are listening this today? Okay. We are listening that today because of most of the devices what we carry and most of the peripherals which we carry, most of the appliances which we have at home, all these have a kind of connectivity. And those connectivity, it is also, those devices, they are giving a kind of data. So it is a big challenge for for the enterprises to compute, to analyze that particular data and to find what are the patterns, what are the behavioral insights and those things. So once we talk about the big data, we talk about the information availability and information confidentiality and information integrity. These are the three basic elements one has to know. So information availability and assuring that any time, any device and anywhere. This is what we have been listening for more than 10 decades, for more than a decade, but still that is not even practical, practically it is not being realized. So let me go back to this one, confidentiality, it's about the protection, prevention, privacy and privilege, which is based on the rules. So you have to make that information available based on the specific role which your organization has set. Maybe your organization might have an authority matrix. So based on that authority, it's not just the authority of matrix for the IT, but it's a data authority matrix. What kind of data one should have an accessibility? One should have the privacy. What role should the data should be make it available? Those kind of things. Data secrecy and its protection. Those things. Integrity, the quality of data reflection, honesty, accuracy and relevance, because once you talk about the financial organization, reporting the data in a way where the honesty, where the actual accurate data can be represented is something which need to be part of the information integrity. Accuracy of an information related and interrelated to the strategic goals of the organization. These are the things which you need to keep in mind. When we talk about the data privacy, we are talking about the three major things. Individual, you as an individual, what are the parameters which an individual think the data must be secure? Because you see, every individual is sharing some kind of data. Whether it could be a social data, it's an organizational data, or it is something related to your own stuff. And there is a public data where the government, they came up and they said, okay, let us guide our society or to the people. Let's say if somebody want to reach from a point A to the point B, what is the traffic which you can incur? So you may adopt another path because that particular data which may not be very confidential because it's like all the vehicles are moving. So if we are able to capture that kind of data to help to the society, to help to the citizens, to help to the residents, this is something of the concern at this time, and the government and ministries, they are looking how we can do that, how we can benefit our people. And of course the private sector, they see what is my sales, what are the transactions, how my product is moving, how my particular product is moving in a specific region, and in what climatic condition this particular product or this particular business is moving, what I need to do, what I need to add in order to push this particular service for a specific segment, how I can achieve the loyalty, how I can achieve the trust of our customer. These are the things which can be possible today because the technology has given a chance for every individual, whether it's an entrepreneur or you as a manager, you as a leader, you as a social worker, everybody have a platform where he can contribute. And again, of course, the data mining where you are relating, you are mapping, you are seeing, because what makes sense to me, because most of the time I used to listen that there is a value, but value, for me the value means different thing, for you the value means different. So for every context there is different value. We need to document what is our strategic goal, what are our objectives, what is our segment, and what are our priorities. And we need to tag or flag that particular data. We need to go back to our database, which is catered at a different repositories, different resources, different data warehouse we have. We collect the data into a central place, creating like a data marts. Maybe it could be your ERP system, it could be your social media campaigns which you have just run over the social networking services. So all that data you need to relate and to see how it can be contributed. Basically, this is about privacy enforcement on data, because we have been listening security. With the cloud computing, with the big data, security is always been a challenging thing, and most of the subject matter experts and the vendors, they may not have a really convincing answer to the consumer or to the customer how this particular data can be protected from the three parameters which I showed you just now, where access control and intent and purpose and consent. Like traditionally we used to see somebody is requesting the data, so the data is being requested as an individual, or it could be requested maybe a project manager, he is having his project plan on his laptop. So if management or somebody want to know what is an update, he has to call or he has to ask him what is an update. Even the EPM, it provides that kind of flexibility where you can have a central accessibility for all your project portfolio to see how the project is performing. But again, that is like a requester. Somebody is requesting the data as an individual, or an application is requesting a data from a specific data source, or maybe it could be a service account within the application which fetch the data from a specific system. So it's again a requester, and the requested data will be given based on its rights. This is what we used to do it. Access control and rights. Who has an access to what data? We used to do as an SAP consultant, we used to create profiles, and those profiles has a specific role, and each role will have a set of rights. So only user who has a specific role, he will have that particular data will be available. So again we are into the same access control, and some action will be taken. It could be a transaction, or it could be something which you want to do it. Maybe you want to share this particular report with some outside external party, or maybe an internal manager or somebody. And then this is a personal data. This is the traditional. So even if somebody is doing all of this, what I'm saying, believe me, you're doing an awesome job. But with this privacy-aware access control, if you implement privacy-aware information strategy within your organization, so not only you are getting the benefit from the traditional approach where you are actually safeguarding the privacy, but also you are adding an access control with an intention. What was the intention? Maybe you have given an access to the particular data, but the intention was something else. Or we need to flag those data sets within the database or within your application, where you can say that this particular data should be used for this particular purpose only. Same data, you have an accessibility to that particular data, but you want to use it for something else, then you will not be allowed to use that one. This is what the giveaway for this. So when we are talking about the big data or anything, we are talking about a trustworthy commitment. A commitment where you are acquiring the global knowledge. You are mapping to the regional preferences. Most of the time what I used to hear, that this is global, but in Saudi Arabia or across the GCC, Kuwait, we want security. Security has always been a concern, and it is a concern, and it will remain a concern. The only thing what you can do, you can bounce back with the governance. You have to see how you can safeguard. Not only you take the security as a one bundle thing, but you need to chunk all of that into different, from the functional side, from the technological side, from the strategic side, and from the business side. So, and again, adopting the best practices. What are the industrial best practice for that particular thing which you are doing? If you are an employee of the e-government, you have to see what are the best case studies we have. Maybe Singapore could be one of the best case study you can take it, or maybe for the e-governance you can, for the e-healthcare you can take the European model. So again, it depends what you want to do. And secure the information and data and infrastructure. This is the, if you are interested to build a trustworthy environment or infrastructure or data warehouse. When we talk about the big data, most of the time we need to differentiate what this big data is all about. So in big data, I said there is a technological perspective. So you as an IT pro, or you as an IT consultant, as an IT architect, or as a data architect, I am going to talk about the different roles which is happening with regards to the big data. Technological tools available to analyze data, which is algorithm, storage and infrastructure. This is the technological view. Business view about the big data, to get more value from the data and information, where the CFO, CEO and somebody as a leader, he want to pay as he need. And then there is the process view. When you talk about the process, every business has a business process, and every process has controls. From the GRC, from the governance and risk and compliance. So every process has controls. So when you have a process and there are controls, what happens basically, whenever an internal auditor or external auditor, when it comes for auditing, that's the time where we got to know, oh, there is something we need to do it. But what is missing in the market and across the enterprise, that those controls which are there within the process are missing. We don't know, in order to complete this particular process, let's say procurement process as an example, we are missing what are the controls which need to be visible. In order to make those controls visible across the process, so that you can measure the performance, not only for your organization, but also you can measure the performance across the process. This is something I want to say. Again, big data functional layers, you will not find it on the net. What we say, big data infrastructure, whenever we are talking about the big data, are we talking about the storage and standardizations? Because what happens, different configurations, different applications, different SAN storage you have, some applications will not allow those VLANs to move and all of that. So we need to see how we can standardize those. Not only from your legacy, but also when you are transforming to the new storage, what are the technologies available and how you can have that kind of freedom of democratization, freedom of sharing the data, and freedom of integrating to the different heterogeneous systems. I will talk on the architecture in the next slide. And when we talk about the big data management, query engines, we have service-oriented architecture. I was fortunate to review recently a book, it is already on my LinkedIn profile, on the service-oriented architecture. So this is what we need to be aware. Big data analytics. So when we talk, most of the time when we listen big data, we think only about the big data analytics. We think big data is nothing but the Hadoop cluster which you are building. You are building an infrastructure for the big data so that the data can be analyzed in a distributed environment. When I say distributed environment, before centralization was considered as something major breakthrough, or it's a milestone, or it's an achievement. But now we are going back. We are going back where the centralization benefit need to be realized, but at the same time, you need to see how the data from a specific region can be analyzed, and though that particular data which is already analyzed, or already you have, we call something metadata, which is already analyzed. But what is happening, I as a programmer, when our management asks for designing a report, we go and we try to fetch the data from the inside tables, from the raw data. And that takes a lot of time. That takes plenty of time. Come on, what are you talking about? You want me to fetch all those many millions of records, and how I can give you? So it used to take hours and days. But that particular difficulty has been addressed effectively by the tools and technologies and the new trends which are happening today. The battery level is low, but my battery is at high, so don't worry about it. And then big data applications. I need somebody to fix the battery for the laptop. Okay, let me just. So big data applications, you are writing an application, or there is an application which can take the benefit from all those, the data layers, functional layers. It is, I have been asked at many events what we need the skill set across our organization for us to have the big data skill sets. So again, when we talk about the big data skill sets, there is database programmers. We already have 58% of the big data database programmers. But again, we need 19% more. These are the global trends. Last year, when Gartner has, I'm off, but I'm okay. When the Gartner was asked that, when the Gartner, they have announced the nexus of forces, when they said there are 4 converging forces: cloud, big data, mobility, and social technologies. And these are, when all these 4 forces, when they are being converged, when you accumulate the strength of all these 4 forces, then your business can compete, your business can penetrate, you can serve your customers more effectively, you can stay competitive into the market, you can stay competitive as a service provider. And there are other roles over there, so I may not be able to go according to the slide. So these are the things which I have been asked. So whenever somebody is talking about the big data, then you have to understand there is a technological perspective, there is a business perspective, and there are other elements which you need to consider. From the roles and from the skill set, it is not just about the Hadoop, but it is about many more things. And there is, I think the last speaker, he was talking about some statistical information where the IT budget, it used to be a budget for the IT department. But according to the Gartner and IDC, McKinsey, Forrester, you talk about anyone, what they said, that the IT budget, the large portion of the IT budget is being spent by the non-IT people. So your CFO, he's the one who is spending on IT. There are so many other departments, they are spending on the IT. So the IT, we don't have the freedom to have a control on the IT expenditure. So non-IT people, you have to, non-IT people, they are the one who is spending a lot of money on the IT stuff. So when we talk about the realization, actually there are 3-4 main slides which was relevant to my heading. I think I missed out. And the battery we need. So anyway, why don't we, can I have some questions please? Because since we have little time. Please ask any question, technical, business. Yes please.
What is the relationship between data integrity, MDM and big data?
MDM?
Yeah.
That is a mobile device management.
No, master data.
Master data management. Okay. MDM and
Data integration.
data integration. Basically, when we talk about the data integration, we are talking about again the technical aspect, and there is authenticity or genuine, or making the data accurately available so that that can be consumed by using the web services or by the other systems or by the management. When we talk about the integrity, we are talking about making that particular data available, which can be consumed by the different systems from the technical side. Let's say you are a customer, you have a Microsoft landscape, you are an SAP customer, or you are an Oracle customer. So now once the data is available, that particular data can be integrated utilizing your web services, utilizing your adapters, or maybe some compliances. If you are from the healthcare industry, there is a HL7 standard, there is a HIPAA standard, there is a DICOM standard. So we are not only exporting or making that particular data to be available, that can be consumed by the different systems. Again, the master data is the master data. So even the mobile, whether it's a mobile data or your enterprise data, that is something I believe, I hope I have answered your question. Any questions, please? I will try to answer slowly. So most of the time what has been last couple of years, it was the big data and cloud. People want to understand what it's all about and how this can really help. But since the starting of this year and the coming year, I think you will see mostly adoption. How the cloud can really leverage the benefit, how it can help me for my organization. What is the roadmap for my organization to go to the cloud? And these are the engagements actually our company and we are doing. How you can take the benefit for your environment, and what is the roadmap for your organization or your public sector or your government entity to reach to the cloud. So again, when we talk about the cloud, it's hybrid, and there is a private cloud and a public cloud. Most of the time what we have seen with regards to the government, it is always a private cloud. Yes. Still loading. So the technology cannot be completed without having a stability of the connectivity, stability of the system, and a stability of anything. So we are living in a world of digital disruption. So what I just encountered, that is a digital disruption. Next time I think I have to come with the flashcards. Yes, any question please? Before I start. I'll just take like a couple of slides and then I will relieve you. there are a couple of slides which I think it's important for me to talk about. Big data analytics, we have heard about that. So when we are talking about the big data analytics, it's like a real-time analytics. Some people they call business analytics. And these days, since a month, we are listening streaming analytics and contextual analytics. So these are not only thoughts or visions, but these are the things which are happening practically. So we are talking about something which you can realize. We have been listening also the descriptive analytics, where we talk about analytics involved in preparing data for advanced analytics. And when you are talking about data modeling and regression and all of that. And predictive analytics, where you are doing the focus on prediction of models and probabilities and verifying how this particular prediction, it could be realistic for my particular environment, where you are doing the data mining and the stuff. Prescriptive analytics, focusing on the decision making. Like, let's say the system will decide on your behalf. Of course, you cannot make it like an automated thing. You need to see what the prescriptive analytics is talking about, how this can help me to make the decision. This is the focus. This is what I want you to be aware. This is the technical slide basically. So I will, considering the audience, I will not go with the details. When we talk about the architecture, so there is an IT architecture, there is a solutions architecture, there is a data architecture, process architecture, business architecture, technology architecture, and application architecture. I have been involved for one of the government project. There are more than 300 government agencies, and they want to have a single sign-on where you can integrate all of those agencies and ministries. So when we go as a technical consultant or somebody who want to orchestrate the authentication and identity, so you need to consider all of those components. So I could consider data architecture, process architecture, business architecture, technology architecture. In technology architecture, network topology we are talking about, technological platform, what are the protocols being used, what are the APIs we are using, what are the adapters we are using. If it is an SAP landscape, then we have to think about the NetWeaver. If it is Microsoft landscape, we need to think about the BizTalk, such kind of things. If it is Oracle landscape, so for you as a customer, the decision to move on the cloud and to realize the data, realize the value from the big data depends on your landscape, on your current investment, on current needs, how distributed you are serving, how your users are being segregated or distributed across different regions. All those components need to be considered, and then we need to go all of this gradually. There are like a set of questions we need to. Again, there is a compliance model. I just want you to see. Now we are going granular. It's not just about like one stack. Last week I was a part of the EMC forum in Riyadh, and they have been talking so many things. Even your firewall, it can based on your landscape, the firewall and DMZ zone will be recommended by the system. Those kind of intelligence which we are observing these days. And the data as a service can be also one of the service which the governments they are considering these days. What is the data which has no confidentiality? In India we see RTI law, where the right of information. So whatever you have based on the regulations, the data can be exposed through the web services or as a part of the open gov or whatever you call. I think I'm running out of time because of the digital disruption. So you see, collecting the data and storing the data, which is nothing but you are capturing the data. How you are capturing the data, this is something need to be understand well, and you need to see how you can capture the data, how you can fetch that particular data, how you organize the data, and even most of the organization they have the data, but data cleansing. Because that data which is already there is stored at your data warehouse, you cannot make any decisions. You don't know what is the logic, because the logic for that particular report which you are seeing on your screen, it is already hard-coded in your application. So these things need to be considered. And then you visualize, explore, and then you make the decision. So there are so many big data initiatives are happening. According to IT executives, mid-level ITs, IT pros and line of business, this is how it goes. IT executives, they think 36% are involved in those initiatives. This is the survey which has been done by one of the research organizations. I want you to just see this one. Capturing, storing, searching and sorting, sharing, analyzing and visualizing. Data mining, data modeling, or data visualization. This is something you need to consider. I will show another slide. This I will not. I will just go beyond this. So there are. This is one slide. Then there is another slide. I just want to journey towards the big data. Identify. We used to have a business case. What your business expectations? What my manager is expecting? What are my KPIs? What are my problems? That means you need to develop a case study and business outcome, and there has to be roadmap you need to develop. And identify big data champions, who are the owners, who are the champion, who is the project owner, and then select infrastructure, tools, architecture. I have given you in the last slide what architecture means, because again there is a full breakdown for the architecture. And most of the guys, we claim that, oh, I am an IT architect because I have done the COVID and I know the IT, I can orchestrate a solution, those kind of things. And then you need to go with an implementation partner, or you just do a POC. You start with a very initial thing. You don't need to make a heavy multi-million dollars investment. You can start with a small POC and see what is the value. Maybe you have something already, maybe marketing department, they are doing some kind of survey, bring the Twitter feeds, connect to the Facebook or maybe to the LinkedIn and try to make a simple thing. Now the tools are being available by the different service providers. Now we are talking about when we want to implement the big data, gathering the business requirement before gathering the data, which is very important. Implement the big data is a business decision, it's not an IT decision. We as an IT pros, we are just trying to help the business to succeed. Because if your business is successful, you are successful. Use agile and so on. This is the whole thing. I think we will be getting this particular slides. Thank you for your time, and I hope I am able to sell at least a couple of slides. And if there are any questions, yes, if there is any question, you can ask. Otherwise, my email address is here, so you can note down. And I'm the most connected person in the Middle East on the LinkedIn, professionally connected with 32 million plus professional network.
A question, which is, do you think collecting data without considering any case, just to use this data for the future, is it a good idea or not?
No. That's what I showed, because this is what will be asked. Collecting the data, it will not make, because you don't know what is the purpose for which you are collecting the data. So you have to know what is the purpose of your responsibility, or what is the KPI for you as an individual, as a responsible. So you have to know the purpose, and that is business purpose, not the technology purpose. Once you know the business purpose, then we have to see what is the data we need to collect from what systems, from what sources. And then we try to, when we pull the data, we try to stage, we identify, okay, these are the databases we need to consider in order to achieve the strategic objective. These are the data tables, these are the data sets, these are the data marts. So once we collect all the data, we design, as an IT guy, we design those data marts. We design data marts, we design data universe, and we just try to make that data available for the applications where the decisions can be made. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, but what about if the question comes later?
Yes, okay.
So, and that time you will not have any data.
Correct.
And you want to build something.
Correct.
So,
correct. So you as a responsible from the big data initiative, you want to become prepared before anything being asked. Then in that case, what I would advise you, you need to identify the data sources which exist across your organization, and you need to find a way how you can integrate, how you can standardize a layer where all the data and all those attributes and dimensions, because once you are pulling the data, most of the time the data, if it is a flat structure, it comes as a flat. So you need to build those dimensions. So once you take one dimension, you should be able to move and see how my data looks like. You are actually visualizing the data. So this could be another thing as a proactive. Yes, you can see how you can integrate, how you can standardize, and how you can make that data available. Because sometimes even the data is available, but the speed in which the data can be fetched, it could be a problem. Because you see, from one database you are fetching the data, it takes, let's say, 10 nanoseconds. The other data will take like maybe 50 nanoseconds. So by the time this data comes, so you will not get the timely report. So there are runtime errors may happen. Those are the things you have to keep in mind. Thanks a lot. It's my pleasure addressing you, and my email address is there, and you can contact me at any point of time. Thank you, ProMedia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed Amar. We shall now take a short break for the prayer and a coffee break. Behind the hall is coffee break. We are arranged. We shall continue our next session at 12 p.m. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Ahmed Amar.
Because all of us we know English, but the first lecturer, okay, he's informed, no problem. But the second one was Egypt, so no problem if he was giving the lecture. But he was so fast and. But I don't know why you are saving the file PPS. If you are saving PPS, the PowerPoint, if it is PowerPoint show, it is easy for you for if any cut. Yeah, I know. After reconnecting and continuing, easy to continue again. If you save it,
Yes, it's a PPT. It was
yeah, if it is PPS, it is easier and faster. You can put it as a shortcut on the desktop,
okay.
and it will be easier.
Thank you. Thanks for the advice. We are everybody is learning. Nobody is perfect.
Again, of course, all of us. That's why we are coming here.